We're here with Simon Lee from STM Property Developments. And Simon, it sounds like you've got quite a unique investment process or way your business works. Could you tell the viewers a little more about that?
Yeah, look, we're a property development company, and we co-invest with investors in terms of small, medium-scale residential development projects. Most of our investors come from either overseas or locally based Chinese and Asian investors. And as you know, there's been quite a lot of interest in property development projects in Melbourne and Sydney for the past couple of years. So I'm a project manager and engineer with 15 years experience in Australia, so we sort of act as their local development partner in undertaking these projects from start to finish. So we look for sites, we do the town planning, we manage the design, construction, tender, marketing, sales, the whole process from start to finish.
For overseas investors considering investing in property and doing development, what don't they understand about Australian planning regulation that might bring them unstuck?
Look, I mean, one of the key things in Australia town planning is it is a very holistic process. So it's not just dealing with government or local or state government. And in Australia, you're dealing with the neighbours, you're dealing with community, you're dealing with urban design. There's much more broad facet to property than just dealing with government and getting the most positive outcome for your project. So I think that's the main difference, is really being more holistic about going about the whole development process.
And from your experience, what are the rough edges in going through a property development? Like, what's the trick to making it simple and doable and to involve everybody?
Yeah. Look, I think engagement and communication is something that is often very lacking in property development in parts of Asia. You're very solely dealing with financiers or the government, whereas here, I mean, it's a very market-driven economy. So you need to interact with your buyers a lot more, understand their requirements, understand their banking requirements, understand government, your neighbours, the community as a whole, and how council can actually help you achieve your development outcome. So in Australia, I think it's a little bit more complicated and professional process, and that's where we come in. And we come in and provide that sort of a disciplined approach to project management. We guide them through the process, through my experience and through our local on-the-ground people here.
And we're here at Australia-China Business Week as part of the Australian Business Forum. Why have you brought your company here? What's your involvement? What do you see as the opportunity?
Yeah, look, I think I know Ray Evans from the chairman of the ABF business for some time, and it's probably the second, about 3 years ago, I first came across this forum, and I thought, look, it is a great opportunity to meet businesses, like-minded businesses who want to pursue an Asian or Chinese market, and like us. So whether it's a property industry or other related industries, I think it's a good networking opportunity. And then secondly, also, it's a good learning forum as well. I mean, I've been to a lot of these forums before, and they've got a very good panel of speakers who actually talk a lot about the processes of how to engage with Chinese buyers, how to manage WeChat, how to manage Daigou, how to, managing intellectual property in China and all that sort of thing. So I think that's very useful knowledge as well. So building knowledge and also the professional networking side is very useful.
And time is always limited. Do you feel like the time you put into this on a personal and a company level gets you, maybe anecdotally rather than in specifics, gets you results for your business?
Look, I think events like this, I mean, it has very positive results for our business. It gives us exposure to the broader business community. It also provides a lot of insights, for me to take away into my business, to grow my business further. So for me, it's a learning experience, and also it's about networking and getting in touch with like-minded businesses. And sometimes, you may know that we're in the property industry. We always collaborate with a lot of other businesses as well. Sometimes not directly related as well. So I think that's where the key opportunities come in.
Okay. And how can people find out more about you?
Look, we've got, obviously, we're on WeChat. We also, our websites, I think if you see our website somewhere, stmdevelopments.com.au, and our office is based in Toorak. We're expanding in Sydney as well, so we're looking to expand our national footprint. And also, please come down. I mean, if you still have half a day left, please come down and have a look. We've got a booth here, so yeah.
And if there's one thing you wanted to say to people in China, in Mandarin if you like, about the property opportunity in Australia, what would you tell them?
I think Australia is still a growing occasion, which is really good for our property. Whether an investor, a buyer, an owner, the population is growing so quickly that there's the need for housing, residential and commercial property is so high. So it's probably one of the fastest growing countries in the world at the moment. So which is why I'm very positive and upbeat about the long-term potential of the market here.
Okay. And for business owners out there, what's the one thing you would tell them about being involved in the ABF?
I think be open-minded. I mean, I've been to a lot of property-related forums, and I think this is a general business forum. So you never know who you meet here and what sort of opportunities might come about. So really be open-minded and talk to a lot of people, whether they're in your industry or not. I think sometimes you get a lot of ideas as well. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.